the teachings of Master Osaka and Master Chusan. This is a series of lessons that are a direct reading from material that was written by Sensei Delane after his lessons with Master Osaka. This is the first disc that explains the basics of Buddhism and how Master Osaka suggested this direction should go and what he believed in. These notes were written over a period of 17 years, starting approximately 1968. The life of Buddha. The Shakai clansmen dwelt along the Rohini River, and this flows among the southern foothills of the Himalayas. They had a king. And for us, you and I, the Buddha represents the essence of existence, the essence of life. As samurai warrior descendants, it is the symbol of the way and of Zen. So I have already read out to you the things I was taught to write down and read and then discard. What Master Osaka meant to say to me was, read the story, but remember it as a fable. But it is very correct. I believe, as Osaka said to me, that we must move beyond that, of the essence of the self. So to me, as a Zen philosopher, there is a link. But to make the link true, and to us as the followers of the Bama and the people that are going to move the principles of Osaka and myself forward, is we must remove from that religion. So now, I've given you the basis of Buddhism, but now we're going to move much more into the words of Osaka and some of the teachings of this great master, who I had the privilege to know. And we're going to talk about now how the world needs Zen, and how Master Osaka covered that. Comes into being. Some people took up the way of the warrior. I am one of those people. But by studying the way of the warrior, when Osaka taught me, he knew I was from the Western world. And as he kept saying to me, it will become whatever it will be for you to live in your society. Our worlds are the same, but our societies are different. Just as rain falls on all vegetation, Osaka once took me to a hill, and we looked down through a village of people rushing about everywhere. They were moving about from one shop to another shop. They were rushing up and down the street. And we sat there in meditation. And then, after a couple of hours of meditation, suddenly there was nobody rushing about anymore. The street was quiet, and it was calm. And Master Osaka turned to me and said, Pete-san, which was the reality? Was it the street we saw 2 hours ago, or was it the street we see now? We have not moved. The reality is where we are, not what we perceive or view, for that is always changing. But we have not moved. We have sat in meditation for several hours, observing what seemed to be reality. Imagine somebody who walked past this point 2 hours ago and looked down the street and saw the hustle and bustle. Then he walked on. For the rest of his existence, the reality of this street would be hustle and bustle. And what if somebody walked past now and saw the street calm and quiet? For the rest of their life, that would be the reality of this street. And they would both be wrong. But what they would both remember would be us, sat here in meditation. That is the reality. For we were constant. And this is the essence of Zen. To be constant in turmoil. To be constant in pain. To be constant in joy. To understand that all things are transient. Only the self can be pure. When I studied with Asaka, I very often had to leave him, of course for long periods, for we did not live in the same country. And I once commented to him how sad I felt at these times. I once asked Master Asaka if there was a form of 10 Commandments that we could inscribe in stone, that would be with us always and would help us. And he said that in Zen there are 5 virtues. You have to help others to grow on a spiritual level. But for us, in the belief of Asaka and myself, not in a religious context. And Asaka was always very, very strong to say this, that in all his family, going way back generations, there was always this feeling of a non-religious context. And number 5, the power to lead people. And this is what Asaka tried to teach me. It's the key to all things. It is not the way you achieve enlightenment. It is not being a warrior or being a team master. The master's role in life is to help the student to reach enlightenment and from there grow, not in the shadow of its master, but alongside his master. And then the bond between master and student will always be there. And as I flew home after that lesson, nothing was ever the same again between my master and his lower student. And although death has separated us physically, it has never separated us spiritually. Let us now move on to Disc 2 and start the discussion on the theory of mind only. Tomoragato. By Master Asaka and Master Chusan. As we sat by the waterfall, Asaka and I gazed high into the clouds, and Asaka said, "Pete-san, what do you see when you look into the clouds?" We turned to look at the waterfall, and Master Saka slowly placed his hand into the stream. And said to me, "Can you feel the energy through my hand at this time?" I said, "No, Master." He said, "Then walk down the stream far enough that you can still hear my voice. Just." I strolled down the stream, and in the end, having gone about 50 feet, I stopped. And I said, "Yes, Master." He said, "Pete-san, place your hand in the stream." So I did. And as my hand entered the stream, water went through it, through my fingers, over my wrist, splashed my arm. And my hand became alive with the cold of the water. And Master Saka said, "Pete-san, can you feel the flow of the way now?" We do not need to be touching to feel the flow. Those of us that came before you will die and see you move on. But the stream will always be here for you and I. And one day you will bring your men here. The river is patient. The waterfall will still be here, as it was for my father and my father's father. Only a man can dam the stream, and then all things die in the drought that will follow. Asaka once said to me that a man's life is like a shadow. It follows him everywhere he goes. When you switch off the light, you feel that he is no longer there. But when you switch the light on, or walk outside, he appears. So in many ways, the shadow. I am very often asked, as the leader of the BMA and the father of the organization, how I know where we're going or why we're so successful. And I always say, I don't know where we're going. There is nowhere to go. I thought. I was confused on this one. And I remember asking Osaka once, I am confused about this advanced form that we could call of labeling. So Osaka laid out some stones on the floor. He laid them in parallel lines. He said, "Describe them." And I said to him, "There are 5 lines. At the top of the line there is 1 pebble. On the second line there are 2 pebbles. And on the third line you have placed 3 pebbles. And on the fourth line 4 pebbles. And on the fifth line 5th pebble, 5 pebbles." Osaka turned to me and said, "What's 1? What's 3? I'm confused. I thought we were talking about pebbles."